It's a delight and privilege to catch up with Kristan Gross, who's a Global Executive Director for Vision Impact Institute. Thanks, Kristan, for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me, Vinod. It's a pleasure.
Kristan, just wondering, I mean, for people who don't know what the Vision Impact Institute is, could you highlight a little bit on what it is and what it does?
I can. I'll try to keep it the nutshell version. Vision Impact Institute actually launched in about 2013, and the thought behind it was that there was no organization in the industry or in the sector at that point that was curating all of the data that existed around the impact of uncorrected vision. The impacts are so great and there's data everywhere. And so they were kind of looking at how are we going to pull all of that together in one place that could be helpful to all people. And so that was the beginning. Our mission is to raise awareness about uncorrected vision and the benefits of correction and also the benefits of protection. So we do that through research. We do that through based on the evidence that exists in the space. We talk about the impact of uncorrected vision in the areas of worker productivity and education of children, the independence of the elderly, perhaps it's road safety and vision and road safety in different places around the world. So we have these key pillars that we work against, but we're also very involved in advocating for change based on that foundation of evidence that exists.
That's excellent. I mean, I think, getting this much background knowledge on what lack of vision does then becomes a strong pillar when you talk to governments and others. So just wondering, just to take that conversation further, I mean, could you share a couple of examples on where you use this data to positively make a change around the world?
Yeah, definitely. So I think, one of the key programs that we've developed is a program called Kids See Success. And that's it's actually working in the US. We are advocating for eye exams for children before they enter kindergarten. And it's based on the data that says, early intervention for children helps them to learn faster and easier to, identify these problems ahead of time. There are preschool studies that exist that say this is, really critical. And as we know, I think we all are very aware of the increase in myopia and early intervention before third grade. A lot of the schools in the US, and because this is a state-based issue in the US, it's a very complicated process to do this. And so we started in one state, we have moved into about 5 or 6 at this point, where we have actually legislation that's on the books and being discussed, but really taking the data that exists around early intervention. What does it take? And then going beyond the screenings in schools in places where that's a possibility.
And now just taking the conversation to the other side, I mean, in terms of, millions and millions of people not having access to a pair of glasses, I mean, what are the biggest impediments? I mean, it's so reasonably priced, I guess, for everyone to access a pair of glasses, but why is it not possible?
I think that's such an intriguing question because we all know, there are places in the world where access is definitely a barrier. I think it's best to define all of the barriers. So we have access, we have acceptance, affordability, and awareness. And when you look at the fact that, in most cases today, there's a pair of glasses at every price point. So everyone in most cases can afford a pair of eyeglasses if it's a priority. In other cases, there are multiple philanthropic organizations that are filling that need. So I think that we have that part pretty much covered. We look at the access issue, and from everything from rural refractionists to optometrists to ophthalmologists, and all of the care in between, despite the fact that the numbers are still lower than they need to be. I believe that the access issue is even closer than it ever has been. So what are the two missing pieces? The missing pieces are awareness, the fact that I don't even know that I have a vision problem, and I don't know that a pair of glasses would fix it. And if I do know that, am I willing to wear that pair of glasses? Just when we talk to people in different places around the world, and it's such an interesting phenomenon, we see so many stigmas around wearing a pair of glasses that I think some of our greatest barriers still lie in awareness and breaking down that acceptance barrier, that I will wear a pair of glasses. It doesn't make me look defective. It actually makes me effective in the work and the life that I live.
Thanks, Kristan. I mean, my very last question is, say, we put you in front of a small business that employs, maybe 50, 60 people over the age of 40. And you're trying to convince that person, saying, look, get the eyes tested for these people who are working there.
Right.
And if the person asks you why, what would your rationale be?
I would give him the personal story of the fact that since about age 37, I would not be able to do the work that I do without these. And honestly, I mean, we look at all of the productivity studies that come out around the world, and every one of them so far, the ones that I've seen, are about near vision. Near vision is something that is going to presbyopia. It will affect every person in their lifetime at some point. If you want to keep younger 40s, 50s people in your workforce, this is your absolute target audience to fix near vision. And it's inexpensive to fix near vision. It doesn't cost much. There are options everywhere. But I think when we look at safety, we look at productivity, we look at the ability to continue to show up for work every day, this is a critical need.
Thank you so much, Kristan, for taking the time and joining us, and thanks for all the work you do in finding the rationale why people should have access to a pair of spectacles.
Thanks so much, Vinod. Have a great day.